Hello, everyone. Dakota from Dakota's Den. How's everybody doing today? Today, we're going to talk about how in the world can we protect our assets from the nursing homes if, God forbid, we end up in one. A lot of people are in nursing homes. I have a cousin who's going through this situation right now. Her dad is in a nursing home. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Medicaid pays for your care when you're in a nursing home, unless you're a rich person, of course. Most of us are not rich people. And what they will do is they will go in like a thief in the night. They will swoop out your bank account that you have saved for or that your parents have saved for. They will swoop your house. They will take your CDs. They will take everything out of your high yield savings account. They will take your IRAs. They even want to know how much is in your insurance policy. I mean, come on. Can you get any more invasive than that? So here we just, I have some information. I'm just going to be reading it for the first time like you. I have a couple clips. I'm just going to be looking at them ad-libbing for the first time just like you. So we got to figure out how we can keep our money to ourselves so we can pass it on to our children. These, you don't realize it, but you will end up with nothing. And then all the years, 20, 30, 40, sometimes more than 40 years that you worked, your kids will be sitting there looking like this, looking like the boy on the front cover, like, Lord have mercy. Can somebody please? My mom is gone. My dad is gone. Hey, look, this boy, look, that's what we're going to look like. That's what our children are going to look like if we don't get it together. And as it seems, we have to get it together 5 years before we plan to go into a nursing home. Who can gauge that? I don't know. But anyway, so listen, nursing homes are very expensive. And hopefully you won't end up with one. That we're praying that we won't. Okay? So stay in the gym, drink your water, try to stay stress-free and get out and get some sunshine and get rid of toxic people, okay? Because they'll take you down. Okay, so and grown kids, make sure your grown kids don't live with you because they're just a ball of stress and they'll just make you sick. So nursing homes are very, very expensive. The average cost of a nursing home is between $9,000 and $10,000 a month. A month, not a year, but a month. Okay, and if you're unable to pay the bill, then that's when nursing home will come in and take everything that you have. Okay, so if you have a lot of people don't know this. Okay, and I'm gonna start with this. If you have a spouse who is at home and you end up in a nursing home, you saying, well, wait a minute, my spouse is still going to need a place to live. They can't just come in and take my house and, take our bank accounts and whatnot. And they cannot. So let's check out what this lady has to say. She's just a short 1 minute clip, and you'll want to know this, especially you married people.
Most people don't realize that if their spouse is going into a nursing home for long-term skilled care, the majority of their assets might still be protected. The married couple, the person not in the nursing home, still needs a house to live in, a car to drive, their own retirement accounts to use in retirement, as well as some additional money. So not everything will be spent if your spouse needs nursing home care. Most people don't realize that if their spouse is going into a nursing home for long-term skilled care.
So those of you who are married, don't shudder because they won't come in and take everything from you because they realize that the other spouse still has to live. So that's good news. I wasn't sure about that. Like I said, I'm just looking at these clips and reading just like you are. So, I'm just winging it today and I'm ad-libbing. So, okay, listen to this. So you might say, well, listen, before I go into a nursing home, I'll just take my money out. Not your child, I will just take my money out and enjoy it. Well, first of all, don't think that your child can go into your bank account, even though their name is on your account. Your child cannot go into the bank account if you go into a nursing home or 5 years prior, which is called the 5 year look back period, or 5 years prior to you going into a nursing home, because from what I just found out, you can't do that. That is illegal, and the nursing home will come after you for paying your parents' nursing home bill, which is $9,000 to $11,000 per month. So you cannot just go in and take your money. So you might say, well, okay, say if it was me, I'm fairly healthy, and say I was 75 years old and I'm fairly healthy, and I'll say, well, let me just take my money out and give it to my children, so they won't have to take it out and deal with the scrutiny of the nursing home, saying that, well, you're going to be liable for paying your mom's bill, blah blah blah. Nope. I just found this out today, and it says while you can take out money from your bank account to give to your children, okay, let's repeat that. While you can take out your money to get out of your bank account to give to your children, doing so before entering the nursing home. So they're saying if you want to take your money out, let me turn this up. If you're going to take your money out before you enter a nursing home, could impact your eligibility for Medicaid, which is a government program, government, okay, .gov. It's a government program that helps pay for long-term care. According to MedicaidLongTermCare.org, many gifts made within a certain period, usually 5 years. It used to be they go back 2 years, but now they got smart and they go back 5 years. So the usual period is 5 years before applying for Medicaid can be penalized, meaning you might not qualify for assistance. So okay, it says here gifts made within a certain period, usually 5 years. So you got to watch that 5 year mark. So my thing is, what if you go back 6 years before you go into a nursing home? Is that legitimate? It says not. If you gift money to your children during this look back period, which is 5 years, could be considered a disqualifying transfer, and you may face penalty. The penalty period is calculated based on how much you gifted. What? So if you gift them $50,000, you be penalized one thing. If you gift them $100, you be penalized another thing. So the penalty period is calculated based on how much you gifted and the average cost of the nursing home care for your state. For example, if you gift $100,000, the average monthly cost of the care is $5,000. So if I give my kid $100,000 and my care in a nursing home is $5,000 a month, my kid might face a 20-month penalty period. So I found out, I didn't know, if you're in a nursing home or you're thinking about going into a nursing home, you can't take the money out. I mean, but my thing is, it's your money. You worked for it. You don't know you're going to get sick and end up in a nursing home. What if I say today, right now, I would need to go out and buy a car, which I do, or I need to buy a new refrigerator. Okay, and I don't plan on going into a nursing home. I read somewhere where 5 years is the time that they go back, but in some instances they can look back even further because they're thinking, well, this person is 70 years old, which is usually the age where people start to get sick. So they just gauged that at 75 they're going to go into a nursing home. So they just tried to be tricky dick. This is a long video, so let's continue. So you say, well, what can we do? What can we do to keep our money? Two things I found out. Two things. You, as young people, because for older people this is just going to be too expensive, you can purchase something called long-term care, and it's an insurance that offsets Medicaid costs. Okay, long-term care. It's an insurance that offsets Medicaid costs, and it could afford you about $150 a day for Medicare costs. I mean, that's something, but it's not much because long-term care for a person, I would say basically 40 and over maybe, it's going to be so expensive. It's not, I don't even, it's not even affordable. It might be affordable for young people because you're not sick. You're not going to be sick for another 50 years, but nobody except rich people can really, or unless you really, really sacrifice, can afford long-term care. But the thing about the long-term care is, what if you don't even use it? And number one, it's expensive and you might not even use it. You might be one of those people who just stayed healthy and was able to stay in their home with a little bit of help and you just didn't need it. So that could be like a lot of money wasted because that's an individual decision. Long-term care. I don't know. Okay, and another way that it said that we can, and that's not even protecting your assets, that's just giving you a little bit of offset. And another way they said that you can protect your assets is through an irrevocable trust. An irrevocable trust. And I asked AI the question, will an irrevocable trust protect my assets if I go into a nursing home? And the answer was yes. Yes, an irrevocable trust can help protect your assets, though it is important to understand the details and the complexities of this irrevocable trust. Okay? So, the thing about an irrevocable trust is you can put your money there. Say you put $200,000 in the trust. The problem is it ain't yours no more. You can't touch it. You give up the right to being the person who can control that money. Who has hundreds of thousands of dollars just to say, well, I won't touch it, but at least if I end up in a nursing home, my kids will get it. You won't be able to live. So irrevocable trust, I mean, you know, I guess if you have like $100 million and you want to put $50 million in it for your kids, then more power to you. But most of us don't have that kind of money. We just don't have it. And also, the irrevocable trust, I don't know. I can't do that because I need to hold on to my money. And also, the money that you have in an irrevocable trust, that money is probably in some sort of CD or some sort of high yield savings account where you are getting dividends from that money, where you need that money to pay your bills. For instance, say you're 65 years old and you have managed to save $400,000 in a bank account, in a high yield bank account. So we're just going to say 400,000. You can say 200, but just break everything in half. So if you have $400,000 in a high yield savings account, and that account gives you a rate of 3.5, which is a credit union rate, which is not bad, I guess. What $400,000 would yield you is $1,166 per month for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life, being that you don't go in and spend too much. You can spend a little bit and it won't go down too much. But that $400,000 will get you $1,166 per month. Now, this is a sidebar. If you have that $400,000 in just a regular savings account, just sitting there doing nothing, then it will yield you $3 a month. And the only difference between the two accounts is the high yield savings account might have a $10,000 minimum. You have to have $10,000 or more in the account, which, you already reached that criteria because you have 400,000 or 100,000 or 50,000, whatever you have. Fingers are not equal. We're all different. But that's another thing about if you use the irrevocable trust. You put this money in an account and now you lose that $1,100 as a retired person that you need to live on. So you have a decision to make. Do I want to give up this $1,000 that I need to eat for every month? Or do I put this money in an irrevocable account just so my kids can get it? Listen, the kids better go out and get a job because I don't think that's doable for us poor people. I really don't. Okay, so okay, let's continue. Oh, you know what? let's continue with this gentleman here. This is a lawyer, and he's very intelligent, and he's breaking it down as to, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, but he can explain this trying to keep your assets so much better than I can. I'm gonna let you guys listen to him. I hope you guys can't hear my music in the background. I have Jesse Cook playing. I'm in love with Jesse Cook, just so you guys will know. He's a Canadian guitarist. You should check him out. All right, let's listen to Mr. Man here. Wait a minute, let me turn the volume down because I notice when I put a video on, it comes up so loud.
Of elder law attorneys, how do you protect your assets from nursing home costs? Well, many of my clients are concerned about the cost of nursing home care because it is so expensive. Right now in the state of Pennsylvania, the cost is $11,000 per month. That's $132,000 a year. The average person simply cannot afford to pay that cost of care. So, what are the sources for paying this cost of care? Well, first, if you could pay privately, that would be great. Pay with your own resources. But if you can't, the other two options are A, qualify for something called long-term care insurance. That's a type of private insurance. Not everybody's going to be eligible for that, nor can they afford it. Lastly, most people end up qualifying for what is called Medicaid. It's a program that pays for care in a skilled nursing facility. Now, not everybody is going to be eligible for the Medicaid program. It has financial criteria. Now, the criteria is different from a single person versus a married couple.
I don't know why he called it a skilled environment. Even though I know the ladies work really hard in those places. I mean, they look so tired, but it's horrible. It smells. I mean, it's not the patient's fault and it's not the worker's fault because the workers get paid, I believe, $8 an hour. You get paid $18 an hour at Burger King. It smells so bad. The food is horrible. It's like a prison. It's like a prison. Take care of yourself. You don't want to end up in a nursing home. I mean, if you do, you do because there's a lot of people there. But just try to take care of yourself. Let's continue.
For a single individual, they're going to be able to keep a very limited number of what they call the available resources. These are the countable assets that you can usually use to pay for the cost of your care. Think of the cash assets or investments that you have. For a single person, the range is between $2,400 and $8,000. For a married couple, normally what they do is they add up all these available resources and cut them in half. Half belongs to the spouse staying at home, half belongs to the person entering the nursing home. Now, there is a maximum that a person can keep. It varies from year to year.
Did he just say they cut the assets and I gotta go back. They cut the assets in half? Because the lady that was on just before then, she didn't say anything about them cutting assets in half. I hear that again.
Resources and cut them in half. Half belongs to the spouse staying at home, half belongs to the person entering the nursing home. Now, there is a maximum that a person can keep. It varies from year to year. Right now, that's $130,000. Now, there are also unavailable resources that a person's not going to be required to spend down, such as your house, car, burial accounts, and personal property. Now, how do people preserve assets if they're worried about one day having to apply for this Medicaid program? Well, the first thing I'll encourage people to do is plan ahead. Try to reduce the amount of available resources well ahead of needing to apply for the Medicaid program. Medicaid has what's called a 5-year look-back period. They look back in time to see what you did with your money or property before applying for Medicaid. However, if you've given away, let's say, a house or monies well beyond the 5-year look-back period, those don't have to be disclosed when you go in and apply for the Medicaid program. Now, attorneys typically advise...
Okay, let's hear that again. I think he said if you sell your house before you enter a nursing home, because that's what I was thinking, just sell your damn house and move into a nice apartment, get nurses to come in and help you, and give the money to your kids. It's like a lot of conflicting information. Let's hear what he said again.
A 5-year look-back period. They look back in time to see what you did with your money or property before applying for Medicaid. However, if you've given away, let's say, a house or monies well beyond the 5-year look-back period, those don't have to be disclosed when you go in and apply for the Medicaid program.
So now's the time. You got to gauge it. Give yourself 5 years. 5 years. I would say if you're a man and you are 68, probably in another 5 years, you'll be on the decline. So sell that house and give the money to your children. If you're a woman, I would say if you're 71, you should probably be thinking about it. Don't take my advice. I just found this video and I'm hearing it for the first time with you, as you can tell. Let's continue.
Now, attorneys typically advise clients not to give money and property outright to children. There may be exceptions, but generally speaking, we advise clients to use something called an asset protection trust. This trust can own your home, monies, investments, and they're sufficiently protected from the cost of your care if you ever need to apply for the Medicaid.
Okay, did you hear that? Get your pen and paper out. You need to write that down. You got it? Hurry up and get it, because you need to write this down. Okay, I'm going to start it again.
Typically advise clients not to give money and property outright to children. There may be exceptions, but generally speaking, we advise clients to use something called an asset protection trust. This trust can own your home, monies, investments, and they're sufficiently protected from the cost of your care if you ever need to apply for the Medicaid program. Now, you need to be doing this 5 years ahead of time, but it's an effective way to shelter significant amounts of resources.
5 years ahead of time, an asset protection trust. So we know the irrevocable trust, the money is not yours anymore. So if something happens, too bad. You'll just be hungry or carless or homeless. But he said an asset protection trust. I never heard about that one. Let's continue.
Home, monies, investments, and they're sufficiently protected from the cost of your care if you ever need to apply for the Medicaid program. Now, you need to be doing this 5 years ahead of time, but it's an effective way to shelter significant amounts of resources. Keep in mind, if you transfer your house to one of these trusts, you still get to live there. The assets are not transferred outright to your children until you pass away, so they don't get mixed up in their lives. They may have a variety of issues, such as married the wrong person, maybe they have some financial problems, and you don't want to give the assets outright. A trust is a great way to protect your home and savings during your lifetime. Now, if you haven't done any pre-planning, there's going to be crisis planning needed. You're going to come to see the elder law attorney at a time somebody's entering a nursing home. At that time, we can come up with a plan to try and shelter as many resources as possible. Sometimes it's as simple as spending down your resources on things you can keep, like a new car or maybe burial accounts. In other cases, you have too many resources. In that case, we may have to use something called a Medicaid annuity to help you shelter assets. If you're married, we can use this annuity to shelter a significant amount of money for the spouse staying at home. You can take all of the available assets that are making
a Medicaid annuity. That's something I never heard of either. So there's the asset protection trust, and then there's the Medicaid annuity. And he said that you can put your house in here and your house will be protected. So unfortunately, when you pass away, they can't come after your home to pay your bill. And then did you just hear him say, basically, I'm paraphrasing, go have fun. Go buy that Escalade if that's what you want. That's what I want. I want a white Escalade. So I'm just going back a little bit more because, like I said, this is the first time. This is elder law. His name is Marshall Parker, and I think he said something about elder law. So shout out to Marshall Parker and elder law because I did not know this information, and I may be calling you. So this is very good to hear. Let's continue.
At that time, we can come up with a plan to try and shelter as many resources as possible. Sometimes it's as simple as spending down your resources on things you can keep, like a new car or maybe burial accounts. In other cases, you have too many resources. In that case, we may have to use something called a Medicaid annuity to help you shelter assets. If you're married, we can use this annuity to shelter a significant amount of money for the spouse staying at home. You can take all of the available assets that are making you ineligible for Medicaid and invest them in a single premium immediate annuity for the spouse in the community.
Wow.
He or she will receive a fixed sum of money over a term of years that will help.
Did you guys get that? He said that if you have too much money, which I don't, but I'm sure some of you out there do, if you have too much money, you can put this money in a Medicaid annuity for your spouse. What I wonder if you can do that for your children, maybe underage children, maybe. But this is excellent information. Excellent. I hope you guys have your pen and paper out. Okay? I'm going to continue. I'm going to go back just 1 second because I need to hear that again, and we're going to continue.
Making you ineligible for Medicaid and invest them in a single premium immediate annuity for the spouse in the community. He or she will receive a fixed sum of money over a term of years that will help them stay at home and live independently. Those resources are not available to pay for the person's care in the facility. Now, these are some of the basic ways in which someone can help preserve assets and qualify for the assistance program. There are many, many other planning options available to you. I encourage you to visit one of the attorneys at Marshall, Parker & Weber for more information.
Okay. Thank you, Marshall, Parker, and Weber. Didn't he say elder care or something like that? I don't know. I thought he did. Yeah. So, wasn't that good information? This is the first time that I was I heard about this excess protection trust and Medicaid annuity. I knew there had to be ways because it's just so scary. Like I said, I have a cousin that's going through this right now, and she was at a nursing home having a meeting with the social worker and the people in the other workers who have meetings when you have a loved one in a nursing home. And they didn't say anything about these protections. Okay. And I think it was remiss of them. I mean, not that the person in a nursing home had a lot of money, but I don't care if it's $10,000 or $1 million. Okay. It's their money that they wanted their kid to have. So I find this to be very, very interesting. Now, what I was going to say is, and thank God I did my research, because I was going to say the best thing to do is to sell your house when you feel like, well, I'm getting too old to deal with all this, the grass, the snow, and all that. Sell your house, move to a nice apartment, and then take the money and help your children. But he said, no, no, no. You can put it in a Medicaid annuity. I have got to look into that. I have got to. Wow. Let's see here. We need some more information on that, on Medicare annuity. What exactly is a Medicare annuity? Okay. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me turn this back up. Okay, what exactly is a Medicare annuity? A Medicare annuity, also known as a Medicaid compliant annuity, it's called a Medicaid compliant annuity, is a financial product used in Medicaid planning to help individuals individuals qualify for Medicaid long-term care benefits while protecting their assets. So what it does is it helps individuals qualify for Medicaid long-term care benefits while protecting their assets. It's essentially a way to convert countable assets into streams of income. I'm down with that. I need more streams of income. And when I'm getting too tired to deal with a big house and a big ass car, I can go with a smaller house. I can go with a smaller car. Okay, so basically, y'all, this is good information. Okay, making the individual eligible for Medicaid while preserving some of their wealth. And that That's the purpose. Preserve your wealth so your kids can get it. I worked at my job for 40 years. 40 years. And what little money I saved, okay, and the house that I have, um, oh, my car is getting older, but I need a new car. I'm hoping I can get one soon. I want to pass it on. I want to pass it on to my kids. I don't want Medicaid to just swoop in and just take everything out. But hopefully I won't end up in a nursing home. But as you see, you can't tell your kids to, hey, listen, go in and get this money, go in and take it, because then everybody's going to be liable. And Medicaid is just like the IRS, they're going to get their money anyway. So, you know what? I always say, like, you might have one person who is 70 years old, never really worked, just always scamming people, and they might get sick and end up in a nursing home. They have no car, so the nursing home can't sell that. They have no bank account, so the nursing home can't go in and get that. They have no home, so the nursing home can't go in and get that. No IRAs, no CDs, nothing. So, of course, they're going to qualify and they're going to be laying up in a nursing home. That's Mrs. A. But then here you have Mrs. B, who is educated, worked, had a career for 40 years, able to accumulate $1 million maybe, or whatever, $800,000 into the bank, has, some nice cars, has a beautiful home, blah, blah, blah. And she'll be in the same room with Mrs. A because Medicaid is going to take all her money to pay for her care. So basically, no matter what you did, everybody's going to end up in the same place. Only difference is Mrs. A, Medicaid is just taking care of her. Mrs. B, she's crying because she's getting the same care as Mrs. A, but all her money's gone and her children are not going to get anything. So listen to Elder Law. He said a Medicaid annuity and also Access Protection Trust, probably other products that he didn't talk about because, he's just giving a little clip. So I don't know about you guys, but I found this to be very, very informative. I know you young people might say, who cares? I've got time on my side. And you do. But think if your parents are still here, think about your parents. Go talk to them. Say, listen, Mom, listen, Dad. I want the money that you accumulated. So this is what we need to do. Because a lot of older people, they're set in their ways and they don't want to hear this. They don't even know anything about it. They just assume, I don't know what they assume, just old school. And even if you have a will, that does not protect your assets from Medicaid. Medicaid is like the IRS on steroids. They are going to get what they want no matter what you do, unless you go to a lawyer and do what Mr. Elder Law just told us to do. So, I thought that was fascinating. I really did. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that video. I enjoyed this video. I'm going to watch this video again, take some notes, and take it from there. So this is a video that I could not wait to do for you guys. Yeah, please, everyone, listen. Like, share, and subscribe. Because you guys know I'm a new channel and I am trying to grow. And even though I enjoy, it's a learning. I learned something today. Even though I enjoy doing the videos, if I get 1,000 subscribers, right now I think I have 725, then there's so many more things I can do. I can get a new camera. I can go out into the world and broadcast for you. It's a lot of more things I can do. And also after my videos, usually I put up pictures and I painted the pictures myself. So if you want to purchase one, just let me know in the comments and we can make that happen. And once again, I hope you guys got some good information because this is serious business. Rich people know how to keep the wealth in their family, but us poor people, we don't know shit. So we have to learn from each other, right? We have to learn from each other. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video and please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to buy a painting, just let me know. Everybody have a great day.